Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Business First Creatives podcast. I am here with my automations friend, Angela Tan. Now, before we get started, I want to tell you guys I'm not feeling great today, having a few health problems, but I refuse to reschedule this interview because Angela and I have rescheduled this interview 4 times. And today, you guys are going to get all of the goodness that she has to offer. Angela, good morning and welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Colie. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to finally be here. I guess this is the third time we've rescheduled, and third time's the charm, I
Yeah,
guess.
it is. So let's talk about your business. First of all, why don't you tell the listening audience what you do? And that is going to push us into today's topic.
Yeah, so I am Angela. I am the founder of The Systems RX, and I'm based out of Tampa, Florida. And I kind of have two roles in my business. The first and main role is a done for you tech and automation specialist. And I specifically focus on setting up workflows that make it easy for people to learn about what you do, pay you, and rave about you. So anything in the realm of
Mm.
automated marketing, sales, and client management systems. And my other role, other from the done for you side, is I'm also a systems educator. And I love educating online entrepreneurs on easy to implement automated systems so they can run a sustainable and hands off business while juggling any other roles that they have outside of a business owner, like being an Uber driver for your kids, without losing
Hmm.
your sanity. Because I myself, I'm a mom of two boys under 5, and I rely very heavily on my automated systems to keep me sane while juggling all of the things. So, yeah.
Very heavily on your automations, Angela. So, at some point, and we'll talk about a timeline, but you started transitioning from doing only done for you to opening and creating your digital products. So, why don't you tell me why you decided to create your first digital product and what it was?
So, I had actually someone reach out to me asking me if I had a digital product for what I do in my done for you service. And I was like, actually, I don't. And I had been wanting to create a digital product, but I never knew what that would be. And so that kind of like sparked an idea in my head. I was like, ooh, I can take my signature process for building funnels and turn that into a DIY course for the people who can't afford my $3,000 VIP day. And I looked at what I already had created for my VIP day clients, like so many checklists and things like that, that I just duplicate in Google Drive whenever I sign a new VIP day client. I was like, I can just take this and turn it into a course. Now, granted, back this was 2020 or 2021. Like back then, it wasn't as robust as it is now. I've changed it a couple of times, but you got to start somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, that was kind of why I created it, because someone asked if I had a digital product, and I was like, that's actually a really good idea, and I've been wanting to create it. And when I asked my audience if it would be something they'd be interested in, they all pretty much said yes, and that's kind of how I got started.
Nice. And so, this first digital product, do you still sell it? And
Yes.
what was the original name? Is it still the same name?
It is. What was the original name? The Evergreen Funnel Tech Checklist, which is so long. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. It like, it makes me cringe. But I didn't want to spend too much time coming up with the perfect name, and I just really wanted to
Mhm.
get it out there, and that's what I came up with. And then that was in December of 2020, I want to say. And then about a year later, I revamped it and I called it Funnel Tech 101, because I wanted to make it more, not just focus on evergreen. I wanted to like just be funnels in general. And Funnel Tech 101 seemed to be the perfect name for it. And then about a year and a half later, I wanted to revamp it again, because as I'm like building more funnels, I'm learning more things. I wanted to like revamp this stuff in the course. So now it is called the Funnel Formulary, because I wanted it to fit in with the Systems RX like pharmacy branding and all of that. Um, and yeah, so I've changed the name 3 times. The price has gone up from $27 originally, which is crazy, to 97 to 400. It is the current price.
Mhm.
So that's been the evolution of my first course.
Okay, so that brings up a very important question because I think that when it comes to creating anything, and I don't think that it matters if it's like a one to one service or if it's a digital product or a course or anything like that, people feel pushed to include more things when you raise your price. So, did you in fact include more when the price went from 27 to 97 to 400, or did it include less?
It did include more,
Okay.
but not in the sense of like bonuses, but in the core curriculum, because there's so
Okay.
many different types of funnels out there. And in the $27 version, I only focused on a lead magnet funnel, like your traditional like download a
Mhm.
PDF type funnel thing. So when I revamped it the second time or the first time, I wanted it to include lead magnet and webinars so
Okay.
that more people could, they can choose if they want a lead magnet funnel to build or a webinar funnel to build or both, but they have the resource to guide them through both funnels, whenever they want to build those in their business. And then when I revamped it again, I decided to include a lead magnet funnel, webinar funnel, a quiz funnel, and an application funnel. So now
Mm.
there's 4 different paths you can choose from, because I think you're always creating funnels in your business. There's just so many different types. And I really wanted it to be a resource that people can go back to over and over again to guide them through the funnel building process, no matter what stage of business they are in. So I am definitely someone who includes more and more. But I did keep the bonuses the same, I think. I may have added like 1 or 2 things, but yeah,
Mhm.
definitely added more to the curriculum. There's way more videos, so many things.
Okay, so when it comes to like including more in your course, what what decision did you make in order to add in those new additional paths? Were they something that your audience was asking for, or was it just something that you decided that they needed?
It was definitely something that they were asking for. I did send out like feedback forms regularly, and I got a lot of requests for like, we'd love to see more funnel types included in the
Hmm.
course. That was one of the top feedbacks that I got. The other one is more like tech specific tutorials, which I had been hesitant to create because I didn't want people to think that they have to use a specific software to
Hmm.
build their funnels. And I make it very clear on the sales page, like, this isn't like a software specific course. Like, take the concepts and like apply it to the software that you are using. Because if you think about it, all email service providers have segments or tags or lists or whatever they want to call it. So like, find that version in your email marketing software. I didn't want to like create a tech tutorial just for that. I may add that later on just as an added bonus, but
Hmm.
in terms of adding the additional like funnel paths, that was definitely something that people were asking for. And I think those 4 pretty much encompass all the different funnel types that are out there. And if there are additional ones, I may add them later on.
I mean, but when you start making these tech tutorials, I always say you don't want to tell them a specific tech to use. But once you dive into making those tech tutorials, I don't think anybody knows how much time and effort it takes to maintain them.
Yes.
So, for example, I started making things for my HoneyBook course. And guys, that's one tool, right? HoneyBook. And right after I started making the videos, HoneyBook started dropping a new feature every single day for 30 days. And it turns out that some of the videos that I made were obsolete. Like, absolutely, it didn't even look the same a week later. And
Oh,
so I got really frustrated and I had to stop making videos for a while until I was sure that they were, done with like this burst of features. And we're all really grateful for features. But every time a tech company gives you a new feature, if someone has created videos that are
mm-hmm.
like a tech tutorial, step by step walkthrough, we have to go back and like edit and redo those tech tutorials because otherwise they don't make sense. We're telling you to click, this first button and that button doesn't even exist anymore. And
Yeah.
so then the rest of the tutorial just makes absolutely no sense. So, from a creator perspective, Angela, I am all about you not
Yes.
stepping into making tech tutorials.
I get a lot of inquiries when people are deciding that, like, should I buy this or not? And they'll ask, like, are there tutorials for ConvertKit? Because that's what I use. And, like, that's what I use now. And I could make them, but I'll probably have to charge more for the course because that's extra time and effort to have to, like, record these. And ConvertKit gives you guys these tutorials for free. So it feels like not right to charge for that stuff that you
Mm-hmm.
can get, for free because you can just go on the internet on Google, YouTube,
Yeah.
whatever. So,
I mean, but I think we might want to take a step back because while I know what a funnel is, it might be that someone in the audience is like, okay, lead magnets, quizzes, like webinars, like, I don't get it. What bottom line, what's a funnel? So, Angela, why do you think that people need funnels? And what does a funnel get me as a business owner?
ooh, it's such a juicy question. So, I always define funnels as a customer purchasing journey. Like, if we leave business out of it, let's look at your grocery store as a funnel. Like, when you walk in, they have carts ready for you because they know, like, you're going to buy stuff, right? And they tend to put all the essentials that you need, like milk, eggs, whatever, at the very back of the store so that you can walk through all the other stuff in between
Mm-hmm.
to get to the very back. So that is like their version of a customer purchasing journey. Is like you start in the beginning and you work your way back, and then you got to get to the cashier in the end to buy all of your stuff. So I think every business has their own customer purchasing journey. The entry point could look way different. Like we talked about, it could be a PDF, it could be an application that someone fills out that they want to work with you, like they're virtually raising their hand that they're interested in working with you. It could be a quiz, it could be a webinar. There's so many different entry points that you can choose from. And then in between there is the nurturing with the emails and whatnot, where they try to sell you into their programs or their services. And ultimately, the goal is to convert you into a paying customer. And having all of that automated can free up so much of your time and energy where you just have to send people to the very top of that funnel, wherever that entry point is, and they work their way down on their own timeline and they're getting everything that they need, all on autopilot without you having to really lift a finger. And I think that's where automated funnels are really nice. And I think every business owner should have one form of an automated funnel in their business to just nurture their leads on autopilot so that they don't have to be doing that manually.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really thought, I mean, the grocery store analogy is absolutely brilliant. I've never thought about this, but what if every single person that walked down aisle 20 and was looking at the cereals, what if you had to answer a question every single time they walked down that aisle?
Yeah.
Like you would be wasting so much time on like this one particular part of their journey and not really ever getting a lot of people to the end. It also made me think of, when you talk about grocery store placement, I know we're getting way off topic, guys. Listening audience, I apologize. But like all those goodies at the front of the store, like the candy and the
Mm-hmm.
toys, all the things that when you take a toddler into a store, they're always grabbing, oh, mommy, I need this. I mean, all of those things are very well placed
Yes.
for you to just kind of dump them in your cart at the end. And that's the same thing that we do when it comes to upsells and
Yep.
downsells and bump orders and all of these things that again can be totally automated. But if you think about it, whatever you're offering them at the end of purchasing like your main product, it has to be something that is like an automatic yes, like, oh yeah, that's normally $200, it's now only $50, and it goes well with this thing that I just bought. Yeah, let me just
Mm-hmm.
add that $50 in. And that $50, depending on how many purchases you're getting, it's really going to add up in the end. And these people are getting it because you have an automated funnel that is capable of selling it to them.
Yes. And the beauty of automating this customer purchasing journey, like people want things these days and they want them fast. Like think about Amazon Prime. Like people don't want to wait. So if they're having to wait to like hear back from you, you're giving them time to like think about other options or change their mind. So having it all automated so that it's getting to their inbox or their DMs or whatever, like instantly around the clock, it just helps speed up your sales process.
So you're helping make this entire funnel like easily digestible for the average business owner. But if I asked you what the number one mistake is that you see a business owner make when they try to fumble through the funnels themselves, what do you think that is?
Ooh. I have a top 5 list. I'm trying to pick one from that top
I
5
mean, you
list.
can give me your top 5 list. I'm all about that.
Yeah. So one of them is not mobile optimizing your funnel assets. They spend a lot of time designing a beautiful sales page on their desktop and they don't check it on a mobile device. And you think about it, most people are accessing websites and stuff, link in bios on their phones. And I've just seen way too many times like a land or a sales page like all wonky on mobile, or like buttons that aren't like fully in view on a mobile device, or
Mhm.
even checkout forms. Like it's like partially visible on the checkout or on a mobile device and you can't hit submit. Like so many little things. So I think that's one area that people could definitely just keep a mental note to check on a mobile device. Another thing is formatting your emails to be easily readable or digestible
Mhm.
too. I've been writing really long emails lately, and that's a lot of work to put into my emails, but I have to format it so that some words like stand out, or like chop it up so that it's not
Mhm.
just one plain long paragraph that is so hard to read. And if you're putting in all that work writing in emails for your funnels, and there's a lot of emails that can go into funnels, you want people to read them. You want people to open them and read them. And if people stop opening and reading your emails, then your conversions are going to tank. So I think formatting your emails, add some GIFs or whatever, GIFs,
Mhm.
add those in there, pictures, like just to, have some fun with it. The third mistake is not segmenting your leads and your funnels. If you don't segment them, you don't know who to target, especially I tend to over segment, and people who have gone through my funnel, and if they don't purchase, like I'll tag them too at the end of my funnel. And later on, I can retarget them with like a flash sale or something like that, just in case I'm in the mood to do that. What's that? 3 mistakes?
I think that's 4,
That's 4.
but I mean, those are really good. The one that you didn't mention that I thought was gonna be number 1, and hey, look at me, I learned something new, was just testing.
Yes. Well, that.
So many people throw their funnels up without testing them, and then
Yes.
when they don't work, they're like, "Oh, well, it didn't work," and I'm like, "Did you test it?" And they're
Yeah.
like, "Well, no." And I'm like, "Okay, no, you have to test it." Or, some people make really silly mistakes, like testing it with an email that's already in the system and has
Mm-hmm.
that tag. And then, of course, nothing else happens. That email is one that you've already used before. And so it's not going to behave like it would if it was a brand new person who was opting into your webinar or your quiz or your awesome PDF that you spent hours making.
Yes. Or like in the testing process, like if you don't test it, you don't know if you've actually turned on an automation. And I've seen so many times like a Zap wasn't turned on, or like a ConvertKit automation wasn't like turned to live, and they're testing and they're like, why isn't it working? And it's like, it's because you forgot to turn it on. That's why. And so, yeah, testing is very important.
So, out of the funnels that you are covering inside of your digital product shop, which one tends to be the easiest or like the lowest hanging fruit for someone to try if they really do want to start bringing in more people into their business and they're just not sure what that entry point should be? Like, which one is the easiest one for most people to set up?
I would say the lead magnet is the easiest one because it's just one path. So you think about webinar funnels, you could get really complicated with it based on like who watched the webinar or who didn't watch it. Quiz funnels, there's so many depending on the result outcomes. Like most people have different offers associated with the different results, so that can get really complicated really easily. So I would say the lead magnet one, and there are, not to overcomplicate lead magnet funnels, but there are very various lead magnet options. Like you can have a PDF, you could have like an audio course, just so many different
Hmm.
options. But at the end of the day, that's just one thing at the top of your funnel, and everyone else goes through the same path after that. So I would say lead magnet funnel is the lowest hanging fruit.
All right, let's slightly like change our path to talk about you as a digital product creator. So, what is the one thing that you did when you started creating your digital products that you wish you hadn't?
Oh, I, I wish I didn't create products that people didn't ask for. I get a I get a lot of ideas and I'm like, "Oh, that's a good one." And I'll launch it and then like crickets. It's like, "Well, nobody asked for it. So why did you like spend all that time creating a sales page, doing all this stuff for it?" So now when I create digital products, I always make sure to like send out a survey or at least find a way to gauge interest before I spend the time
Hmm.
creating the thing, because I have definitely created a few products where I thought people would need them based on like how much I needed it, and crickets. So yeah, I definitely recommend surveying your audience before spending all that effort into creating a digital product.
Have you ever thought about pre-selling any of your digital products so that once a good number of people have bought it, you know that there's interest and then you're basically being like paid to create the product based on the people who have already purchased? I mean, I did that with both of my courses, both of my recent courses, like the Dubsado course and the Honeybook course.
Mm-hmm.
I did a pre-sale on both of them. Like, Dubsado was years ago and Honeybook was just recently, but I would pre-sell it. And as long as enough people bought it, I was like, okay, this is something that people really want. And then I dove in and actually created the materials after I sold it. And I was, like, just so that you know, this product is not created yet. It will be created, and available to you on such and such date. Have you ever thought about doing that for your own products?
I did it for the first time in November of last year, so not too long
Hmm.
ago. I kind of had a weird relationship with pre-selling because I've been burned once by a coach who pre-sold a course that I purchased, and then I ended up getting scammed. So I was like, ooh, like I don't want people to like, I know I'm not going to scam people, but I was like, this just doesn't feel right. But I decided to give it a try because I'd never pre-sold anything before. And it was funny enough, it was a course about how I went from a service provider to a digital product creator.
Hmm.
And that was kind of my way of gauging interest, because I was like, there's going to be a lot of resources in here. I'm going to be putting a lot of effort recording podcast episodes and like creating the bonuses and whatnot. So let me see if people actually want this. And they did. And they purchased it for the pre-sale at the pre-sale price. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of nice. Like you are getting paid to create, and it feels good to like have your idea validated. So I definitely will be willing to try pre-selling more, especially for resources that have more content in them. Because yeah, being paid to create your digital product is so nice.
It's so nice. It is so nice. And then you can create an amazing funnel to continue to
Yes.
sell it on the back end
Yeah.
to your new people. I mean, Angela, if somebody was like, again, if somebody wanted to jump in and create their first digital product, do you have any advice for them besides surveying your audience and perhaps considering pre selling to gauge interest from your audience before you go forward? Are there any other lessons learned that you have about creating digital products or moving from your services to like selling digital products?
Yeah, I kind of have two. One, make
Okay.
sure you have an engaged audience before you start selling digital products. I have worked with a lot of service providers or coaches who didn't really have an engaged audience, but they keep seeing the whole digital products like passive income thing and kind of fell into that trap.
Hmm.
And they spent all this time creating a digital product, and at the end, nobody bought. So I say definitely have an engaged audience. And my second advice is to have an email list. I had never thought that I'd be someone who would utilize email marketing, but it is where I generate the most of my digital product income is my email list, because social media is a whole different thing. It's just not consistent, but emails are just so consistent. So get an audience, even better if you can have them onto an email list so that you can communicate with them regularly and know that, you're not fighting an algorithm to get their attention. Yeah.
Well, Angela, let me ask you a question about your email list because when I had Liz Wilcox on, she's all about email. I was absolutely shocked to learn that when she launched her membership, her email list was less than 1,000. So when you're telling people to have an email list, is there like a goal that they should have in terms of, because I know some people are like, oh, well, I can't do this until I have like thousands of people on my list. And guys, I barely have over 1,000 people on my email list. So my email list is not large by any spectrum of the imagination. So, I mean, how many people should someone have on their email list before they dive into perhaps trying to sell these digital products?
I don't know that there's a specific number. I had 25 people on my email list when I sold my first digital product, and those are just all waitlisters. I basically put a waitlist link onto my Instagram page, and I was like, if you're interested in this course, like join the waitlist, and that's how they joined my email list, and that's how I got started. And I think one or two people from that 25 bought my course. So I think just start building your email list, and the people who want to get your emails, I think, are the people who are interested in what you have to offer. So I don't think that there's a specific number. I will say that there are a lot of ways to grow your email list, such as bundles, summits, and whatnot, list swaps. Like I could collaborate with you. You know, we could do a list swap, and that's one way that we can grow each other's email lists as well. So there are so many different avenues you can go to growing your email list. So it doesn't have to be this hard, complicated thing.
I totally agree. I mean, Angela, I amazing. And if people, because I mean, email lists and funnels and all of it just seems really complicated, but you make it really easy. So if someone wants to come and learn more about your done for you services and your digital products, where can they find you on the internet?
Yes, please come find me on Instagram where I share videos of my babies. They are my marketing models. At this point, I still need to hire them so I can save money on my taxes.
That point.
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram. I share a lot of stuff there, or you can go to my website, thesystemsrx.com, and you can find all sorts of free goodies and paid goodies on there in my digital shop, The Funnel Pharmacy.
Angela, thank you so much for joining me for this podcast episode. It has been amazing because, of course, I love hearing about funnels from other people. But everyone, if you do not have a lead magnet funnel in your business so that you offer your audience something that they can opt into and then they get on your email list, I highly recommend that you do this. And Angela is a great person to show you how. All
Yay.
right, that's it for this episode. See you next time.